themselves. And for weeks, months, been screaming from the rooftops that performances matter. No, you just need to get it over the line. Well, your performances are what are going to eventually carry you over the line. If you have bad habits, those are going to show up at your worst times. And those habits have come to roost, unfortunately. So, yeah, being in back-to-back semifinals, it's like, okay. But if you guys watched the game yesterday between Bayern and Real Madrid, or you've been watching PSG at all, what makes you think that we're going to beat either one of those teams or even Atletico Madrid? Based on the way that we're playing right now, you can tell me Saka is going to come back. So-and-so is going to come back. Saka played in that Carabao Cup final with the armband and dropped a stinker, so it's kind of like, the answer is just kind of like, it's right there. I didn't think we're going to win it. Right there.
So what do you pull it down to? Because you made a comment there, and I think I know what you're doing, but I have a job what you mean, sorry, but I have a job to be devil's advocate. Yeah. What do you mean by it's come to roost? Like, what? Let us have everything, like nitpick, the out of you, like what's gone right, what's gone wrong. Because as you said, I feel personally from the start of the season and last season, really, but start of the season, we have been nitpicking, the football could be more entertaining, yada, 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 but we have been picking up results. I'd actually say everything was quote unquote crusty. Everyone was kind of full of optimism, other than when we hit the second half against City. Since then, it hasn't really been there. But yeah, what has it been? Because again, we're still top of the Premier League and we've still got back-to-back semi-finals. But what's come to roost? Like, what's the issues?
It's just I would say it's just the bad habits that we've seen in 2026. I personally do not think we've played well very many times during the season.
In the Premier League, a handful, if that, and that's being kind.
Yeah, I think there's this idea that we were playing really good in 2025 at the beginning of the season, and now we've dropped away. I personally think we've been pretty mediocre the entire season. And then we've gotten even worse in 2026. The bad habits, it's the playing out from the back and making mistakes, the unforced errors, the inability to build up through the thirds, the lack of chance creation and open play, the lack of, making good decisions when you get into the final third, the lack of clinical finishing.
The lack of penetration in central areas as well.
Yeah, it's all of that. And then on top of the fact that, I think one of the bigger conversations that people are not really having is when I say chickens have come to roost, it's not just like with our bad habits, that's there, but it's also running players into the ground. And we're finally seeing that we're in that death cycle. It is basically the same cycle that we were in last season. It's only that we have more players now that we can kind of count on, that one player's injured, the other player's coming back from the injury. And it's like one person's recovering, the other person's coming back.
It's a revolving door.
Yeah, and it's just Kai Havertz is going to save our season. Kai Havertz has been out for a year. He's been out for a year. He was out for 4 months last season and then got injured on the first game of the season this season and has been out since March. And people think he's going to save our season. It's not even about what I think about him as a player. His level is much lower than what it would normally be because he's not phically fit.
Right, Saka, Odegaard, the same for whatever reason as well could apply. That could apply to. In fact, that probably applies to the majority of our team. We're better off probably thinking about who hasn't been injured this season, because I very much doubt there's anything more than 3 to 4 players that haven't had a knock. And I get it, at this point of the season, with the amount of games that you have to play for club and country, there's going to be knocks, there's going to be aches, there's going to be all of that. But I make you right, because we brought in 8 players, and yeah, that's helped us combat. But we've been dealing with injuries from August until May. So there's either something the players are not doing. There's obviously an element of Arteta running people into the ground or whatever. There's just several things that have been brought to the forefront. Obviously, we know they've been there from the jump, but it's been a disaster where domestic competitions are concerned. So it's like now everyone wants to speak about this kind of stuff. But it's jarring, man. And you know what? We're on the topic, yeah. Idol's Corner, you got a great question. I'm going to get into it in a sec, yeah. But kind of focusing on the Sporting Lisbon game, what did you make of the Sporting game? Do you think it's a reaction? Like, where are you at with that? Because I do think that. I think, we've been messing about in domestic competitions. I think the 2 games against Sporting weren't good, but we haven't been winning. And I give the players that. I do think there was more intent yesterday to go forward. I do think they actually put in a performance that they probably should have done, if not better, against Bournemouth. But it's not hunky-dory. It's not rosy. I won't say I'm filled with hella optimism going into Sunday, but like, where are you at with the Sporting game?
Can I just say before I get
Go
into
ahead.
the Sporting game, I just want to say that like we should
You're the
not be
star here, man. Say everything you want.
we should not be asking this team for a reaction right now. They are 6 games away from winning the Premier League, and
Becoming legends.
they're in a semifinal, you know, for Champions League. We should not be asking for performances, reactions, an uptick. They should be at peak form. We should not be asking what's going on, you know. So I just want to put that out there. The fact that people are like, was that a reaction? Why are they not fucking up for it? This is it. This is what you struggled to get to. Like, this is it. You should be at your peak. And you not being at that, like them not being at the mental space that they need to be in, and we're asking for a response is pretty freaking dark, you know. But Sporting, listen, I have a group chat with a couple of Arsenal ladies, like, you know, and I watched that game and I thought, it may be better than Bournemouth, but it doesn't take much to be better than Bournemouth, because that was the worst performance that they've dropped all season, worse than Wolves, worse than the Carabao Cup final.
Didn't
But
even turn up.
but
Managing
just because something isn't bad doesn't mean that it's good. And I'm finding myself, it's hard for me to take any positives from a game where we just should not be trying to squint to see performances. It was okay. It was not unprofessional like some of the performances that we've seen this season, but it wasn't good. It wasn't. It was just better than Bournemouth, and that's not saying much. I think you saw more effort, which is the bare minimum requirement.
Facts.
But there's still a lack of chances being created. We still didn't score a goal. I can't really, it's like since the Carabao Cup final, we've probably scored 4 goals or something like that. You know, it's dark. You know, we're not scoring goals and not looking like scoring. And I'm just like, why are we even at this point? It's just the same questions. It's like, do we look good? Why is it that we can't access central spaces? Why don't we look fluid? Why aren't we creating
None
chances?
of that's going to change in April and what's left of
No,
the season.
we shouldn't be asking
Too
these
little too late for
freaking
that.
questions. Like, well, maybe if we play this player and this player, Arteta is going to play that all runners front three if he has the opportunity to do so. You know, he doesn't see a problem with it. So we're probably going to see it again because these other players are like, Saka's not fit. Basically, that's all it is, you know. So I don't know. You know, Sporting, was it better? Yeah. Does it matter in the grand scheme? Is that performance good enough to beat City? Hell no. You know, so what am I supposed to do? Give them a flower and a gold star? Like, good, you did, you know, like, did the Champions League, does the song not get you up for it anymore? Like the Champions League anthem, you're at home and damn, you know, it's, I don't know.
He's out pissed off, man. And you know what? Like, I can't say you're not with claims. You should be. Like, if I'm like, I know you said we shouldn't be squinting for improvements, yeah. And generally I am. I think one thing that's focused on at Arsenal, rightly so, is as I'll just take the overview of attacking play in it like that. Like, there's many different micro things around that, but there's that. I actually feel defensively, and me and you have had conversations about this. I do think we've dropped off our standards this season. And I think for me, maybe it's confirmation bias, but I think in the last few games, Southampton comes to mind, Bournemouth comes to mind, City in the final comes to mind. I think we've dropped off a cliff. As much as the XG and all that kind of crap hasn't been pretty and wasn't pretty against Sporting, I'll give the players three things. There was more of a willingness, under the realms of it not being good enough. There was more willingness to want to play forward and intent. I actually, like, there was a couple of heart and mouth moments, if you could say that, in a low-key affair. Like, Raya had a couple of blind passes in Saliba. I'm at the point I don't mind that. I'd rather those mistakes, because there looks like there's a bit of invention and intention, than the sideways, and then we're making mistakes in previous things we've seen. And also, I do think, we kind of limited Sporting to not half chances, but half chances. So again, I am nitpicking, but football is decided in both ends, and that's the only kind of positives. And the fact that you won, you didn't embarrass the fans around the world, and obviously you're into the semi-finals. It's a weird one where the semi-finals is concerned, because we should be able to like compartmentalize, be gassed about that, quote unquote, because we're into the latter stages. But where the Sporting games have been is that stench of how we've been performing domestically, isn't it? It's like there's no getting around that. Like, yeah. Did you watch it or do a watch along? I don't know yet, but it's like during my watch along, I even found myself obviously commentating on the game, yeah, but There's no getting away from, sorry, what happened against Bournemouth and what happened against City. I've got to ask you as well, because like I haven't caught up with you in it. Like, what'd you make of the Bournemouth game? I've got to ask questions.
So this is where I'm not winning the Arsenal fan Olympics. I'm DQ'd. And I've been telling people this. I'm not trying to be the best fan ever. I'm just a fan. I'm just a girl.
I'm trying to win shit.
I'm just a girl. Like, I was not waking up at 4:30 in the morning to watch them put in a performance I knew they were going to put in anyway. As soon as Arteta starts talking to the fans, I'm like, oh, they're about to be horrendous today. So I only saw the final 30 minutes. So what did I
The worst of the lot.
Yeah, I was like, I woke up and I was like, oh, we're drawing. That's pretty fucking bad at home against Bournemouth. Turned it on. They were doing nothing. Then they let Alex Scott score and then wasted the last 15 minutes doing nothing. So it's I think ultimately when Arteta's putting up big screens and doing up montages and asking the fans to do something, he knows that they're not up for it. And again, why are you not up for the final 6 games, 7 games, whatever, when you could win the league? You're ahead. It's not even like you're behind. It's in your hands. You still could go to the Etihad, fuck that up, and still win it if you locked in. Why is Arteta having to talk to the fans? What is wrong with you guys? Like, what is happening? So yeah, Bournemouth was ass cheeks. And that's the long and the short cliff notes of it.
Yeah, no, I listen. I got to ask in it. For me, it's like if let's just say Jess is a singer. Let's just say Jess is Beyonce. Yeah, she tells us she's gonna have a great concert. She tells her friends, her families, everyone, pack out the stadium, go and do whatever. If Jess, the singer, the DJs, the backup dancers, none of them turned up, there's no atmosphere, there's no party, there's no nothing. That's how I felt about the Bournemouth game, and I get it from Arteta. You're trying to find fine margins. I'm even more pissed off because if anything, you should make the Emirates a fortress and try and take home advantage beyond the obvious reasons to want to win. It just went down the toilet to the point where, of course, you're questioning in-game management, tactics, all the things that we've spoken about all season. You're questioning the players' desires. I'm at this nasty point where I don't think Gyökeres is the best striker ever, but I'm relying on a striker in jeans, big him up. I'm relying on a 16, 15-year-old, 17, whatever, in Max Dowman, and probably Eze. And I shouldn't be saying that about my attackers. Like, I need to see players standing up to be counted. And me and Jess have spoken about this. We've criticized in-game management, tactics, central regions, all of that. Me, I'm parking that off the side because I don't think I'm a genius, but I think I'm not naive in that if it's not going to change now, why would it? Just get over the line. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing cracks defensively, whether it's mentality or whatever. Obviously, the attack, it's not looking good. And for me, I just don't want the boys to spoil it, innit? Like you said, you got 5-6 games. You've got an incredible margin for error. I do think all of this, we need to galvanize and fire in the belly, and the gloves are off and all that stuff. I think we said that several times this season. I think everyone can see the obvious in it. If you really want it, you'll do what needs to be done on Sunday. So it is a weird one. Big up you lot in the chat. I'm going to get to you lot's comments and whatnot, but this was a good question while we're on the Champions League segment. Yeah, big up DG and big up Jess. Question: can Arsenal genuinely compete on 2 fronts, or will chasing both trophies ultimately cost them one or both? Where are you at with that? You're the guest, so I'll let you go first.
It's a weird one because I do think that you can tell that these players are dead on their feet, and they have been,
like The Walking Dead,
for months. So it's kind of like, no, I think they're at that red zone where it's just, there's too much pressure and their bodies are broken down. So no, I don't think so. Even being on the lighter side of the, Champions League bracket hasn't really helped us because all of our performances are like cup finals. Every single one. There's not a single game that doesn't feel like we have to like struggle through it. So they're exuding a lot of energy, expending a lot of energy, and they keep getting injured. So, it could cost them. I think, will it be the 2 fronts that cost us? I don't know. But I do think we're struggling to look like a team that has enough, not necessarily depth, because we have the depth, but enough
quality, consistency,
quality,
galvanize,
and fit players, you know? So yeah, I mean, but at this point, we should be at the point where we could be in this position, right? Like we went through so many years saying that, you know, well, we don't have the team to do this, so we have to bomb out at everything. I think at some point we need to kind of put the line in the sand that you need to be able to compete on multiple fronts. You know, because let's say that we go out sad against Atletico Madrid or we throw it. Does that really guarantee that we're going to win the league and we're going to put in good performances? No, it's not. It's not. You know that they'll still play like ass. You know they will. It's not removing anything off of their plate is not going to help them. You know, so I think it's more just mentality, scared. Those types of things are more of a detriment to our season than a heavy schedule. So yeah, because I think what it is like people are trying to figure out a reason now, you know, why it's like, well, we were in too many competitions and injuries. If they don't win a single trophy this season, it's because they freaking collapse. Like that's mentally they don't have it. It's not going to be because of, but we were just in so many competitions. Like, no.
And that's a cop out as well, because obviously, yeah, I can't blame fans for being naive, yeah, but I see, and I know social media and YouTube ain't the best examples, yeah, but at the start of the season, oh my God, look at the depth, you know, people were doing Arsenal B team, they could get top 4, we can finally compete in all trophies. Bearing in mind, we've got more players and we're still injured, so there is something for Mikel Arteta to do in terms of rotation, actually the players, and also footballing authority, which they're not going to do to kind of make less games. They're not going to do that. As much as they can expand, they're going to expand, but we've been knowing that, innit? You know what they say in life, a man or a woman who chases 2 rabbits, you get none in it. That's kind of how I feel about the Premier League champs. Me and you have spoken before. I would also always say, yeah, for me, if I just one fan out of the millions of Arsenal fans, if I could be selfish and just pick for myself broadly without context, I'd pick the Champions League. We ain't done that. I think that's the biggest competition. If I had to include everyone, whether it's Mikel Arteta, the players, the journey, the things we've spoken about in this opening 20 minutes, you in the chat, obviously in line with the recent blip and bumps and bruises, is definitely the Premier League. They're going to have to find a way. Now, me and Jess in the first 20 minutes, right, we've done the context. You know, we've actually given the players their credit because we've had a bit of a bitch and a moan all season, but we've also given you your fair flowers. Now, at the point now, if you were to take the lazy view and I offered anybody this kind of position with no context, you're in another semi-finals, you've got, you know, you're top of the league, you've got Man City, but you've got a points gap, you would obviously have that. They've got to find a way. Now, there might come a chance for Mikel Arteta, and this is where rotation's key now. If every game in the Premier League's a must-win and you've got a tough game on a Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, equally with the Champions League, you've got a fucking decision to make. But they've been knowing this. They've seen the fixture calendar list in previous years and what comes with it. Arteta's also seen it, not just here, but also at Manchester City. It is what it is. There's injuries. We're not playing well. We're feeling sorry for ourselves. Despite this, we're on a good platform. There's not a single logical reason beyond the fact that I like Arsenal and I'm going to run with these players into the fire, not knowing what's going on. There's not a logical reason. The one thing that annoys me, if I'm honest, is momentum is a big thing at this point in the season. City are a positive shadow of themselves in the first half of the year. Yeah, they're not going to sit back when they take the league like they did. Yeah, that week, in the same way, this week, if we go win the league, or this is where legends will be made and whatnot. Yeah, they went out against Real Madrid, and then they had obviously us on paper, Real Madrid, us, Liverpool, Chelsea. They obviously fucked up against Madrid. They put on their big boy pants. And I actually think they thought they were going to lose that final, regardless of the bottling thing. They turned it on. They smacked up Liverpool. They smacked up Chelsea. Pep's found an answer. Individually and collectively, they're doing what needs to be done. Obviously, City have typically been the team that's in all competitions. The flip side is they've had days to rest and prepare and all of this, but this is the realm we wanted to be in. We wanted to compete in 4 trophies. Obviously, we're in 2 now. It is what it is, man. What do you make of our Champions League chances as much as you can? Because I was having this conversation on a live stream, right? I don't think we're going to win the champs. If I had to put money, it's on the Prem. Of course, I want to win it. We're in the semi-finals. You want to show progression, all that kind of jazz. Bayern Munich, collectively, tactics, the players, you know, Kane and Elise, potential Ballon d'Or winners. The same logic with PSG. Obviously, we've beaten two of the 4 semi-finalists now, well, 3 because we can't play ourselves. I don't take much stock in beating Bayern and beating, obviously, Atletico in the league phase. It shows it can be done, but similar to PSG last season, they're in a different moment in the league phase versus the others. But like, how do you actually rate our chances? Like, do you rate, firstly, how much do you rate our chances against Atletico? And then potentially, if we do that, getting into a final?
Yeah, it's tough because Arteta doesn't have many good examples of his teams doing well in do or die situations. I think in most cases,
And that's my thing on Sunday, man. Going into Sunday, all right, man.
they go out sad in almost every single time. I think that's why Real Madrid was such a surprise to so many people, was because we're so used to them not showing up. If there's a situation where there's no opportunity to draw, meaning you have to win, whether that's in the league in April and May when the games really count and drawing is not an option, they usually lose. And if they're in a cup competition and they're beyond, like, the round of 16, whatever, and they need to win, they usually play like they want to draw. So when you play like that, no matter how good your players are, whoever's fit, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many players they have missing. If they play bad on the day, they're going to beat us. So beyond the fact that all the other teams in this competition, including Atletico Madrid, look like they're coming into the part of the season where, they're playing well, they're fresh, they got players back from injury, and they look
Everything's
ready
clicking
to
into
do
place.
everything's
City as
clicking.
well.
We can't even count on our players to put their best foot forward. So no matter, I think our chances are incredibly low. I think Arteta versus Simeone in a knockout is a mismatch, because he did the thing that Arteta can never seem to do, which is make decisions during the week that are going to help you in the weekend, that are going to help you during the week. Simeone rested his entire team for that game because he knew that they were going to have to put in every single little effort to beat Barcelona on that day. And they went through. It was hard, but they went through, because the league is like nothing for them right now. Arteta plays the same group into the ground, rain or shine, even if he doesn't have to. I don't think he can beat Simeone in a knockout, and I damn sure don't think he can do it against Luis Enrique or Vincent Kompany at this stage. Not only do those teams have more talent than us, they're fresher than us, but their managers know what to do. Our chances are very low because I can't even count on them to play their best. It's before you even get to how much better they are than us or anything, they're going to
put your foot forward.
Yeah, they're going to play like they can draw. And if you can't win, don't lose. They're going to go into that game at the Etihad like that as well. Can't win, don't lose, because that's how they play every single game. It doesn't matter. That Carabao Cup final showed me it was so. That's the game that for me just made me. It was like all of my hopes and dreams for this. It was gone. I was like, as much as we're in a good position,
only two men turned up out of our 11.
If you can go into a final and drop a performance like that, I can't trust you. I cannot trust you.
And that's the saddest thing, man. Like, they'll always have our support, but trust, based on what you said, trust going into whatever the Champions League has to say, and obviously Sunday, that's the thing. They need to rebuild the trust. Like, Arteta does a lot of talking about generating atmosphere, and I get it, I understand it. Some of it's work. The Emirates is a lot of a better place, but maybe it's just me being lazy. The performance generates it. And I do think we've been in that climate. We are in that time now where, as dumb as it sounds, somebody clamps someone first minute, it gets the fans behind you. I'm not trying to say Max Dowman should start, but Max Dowman excites people, gets bums off seats, players doing little things, and to the point where we're excited to see Gabriel and Dowman, like the clips doing the rounds of them kind of having it. That's what that's
you know. Well, you know what they do that irritates me is their script is always the same. The major script is always the same, but the game script is start out and you're kind of popping it around. You can see some new ideas. They get a couple of chances, half chances. They don't score. And at about the 18th to 20th minute, it all just goes away.
It's like we go like this and we're like, oh shit, we're doing all right. Complacency.
And then it just goes down.
That happened in the final. We actually started the final decent.
Yeah. I mean, Kai Havertz misses a terrible opportunity, but at the same time, that should not keep you from creating a single other chance for that entire game. They did not start trying to score, and this is the thing, they don't start trying to score again until they concede and it gets to the 90th minute. If they're drawing,
we're talking about people.
If they're drawing, there's no uptick. They will just try to draw like they did yesterday. Kind of try to draw. We had a little half chances here and there, but it is what it is. If Sporting had scored, they would not have tried to score again until the 90th minute. I don't know what's wrong with this team, but it's so hard to to believe in what they're saying because you just know that that's what they're going to do. They'll go to the Etihad, they'll try for a couple minutes, we'll have a couple half chances, miss them, and then City will be on us. And then we'll be, why didn't we score that one chance? Well, why didn't we create more than one?
Football's about probabilities. Yeah, don't get it twisted. Obviously, everybody knows there's them games where you might only get one chance you have to bag. But as an Arsenal fan, unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, we're able to remember and piece together the 2-3 chances we've had. And, you know, again, I know obviously we've kind of spoken lightly about City and Sporting, but that's where the frustration comes from, in that we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot and we're kind of talking about the same thing. So there is an element of pattern recognition. For me, you know, going back to that question, the Prem and the Champs, obviously the manager has to do his part, the player has to do his part, players have to do their part.
Yeah.
I'm more looking at Mikel Arteta in the Premier League. Like, you've got to kind of lead that one. Champions League, I do have faith in Arteta's ability to make us competitive, be good off the ball. But then, like you said, the players are doing their jobs. I'm actually looking at our players more in the Champs. That's why I kind of, because I'm scratching my head for consistent performance. I wouldn't say Rice is being amazing, but I would look to Rice. I'm mainly at this moment in time looking at Eze. You're looking kind of comfortable. Unfair to put it on his shoulders, but if I'm honest, just as a tool in a toolbox, a 16-year-old Max Dowman, and of course Gyökeres, you're the only ones that have, in my opinion, during 2026, or definitely the last couple of months, have shown me what I want to see in it. So it is what it is. Jess, where have you been? I'm so tired, man. She's been about, man. Subscribe to her platform, man.
Working, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm very sick of Arsenal. So
I saw your tweet about we're coming to neutrals. We could just don't lose the faith, man. This A's up, 2-3's up. You signed up for this to death, man.
Yeah, so bad. They piss me off so bad. I've never been in such a toxic relationship. Like, this is
Trust
the
me.
most toxic relationship I've ever been in, but I can't get out. Like,
you can't get out.
So disgusting. Help.
It's like this. It's like this. Like it makes you want to cry somewhat, man. What's your guys' honest opinion on Saka's season? Thanks for the super chat. I can answer that off the bat. For me, it's been shit in it. Like, there's no way around it. Like, Saka's, for whatever reason, first season that you've disappointed me. You're still my boy. Still protect you. Still would rather this current version of Bukayo than Noni. Big up Noni. Yeah, but it's been shit in it. I'll be just like, it is what it is, isn't it? Where you at?
Yeah, Saka has been poor in my opinion, but I think people have a hard time saying that because he's Saka. He's making lots of money at this club and is the face of it. If he's playing like shit, it's okay to say. He's been awful. Now, the injuries definitely haven't impacted him, and that's the context that I'm willing to give him, but it's been poor.
No way around it. And T, appreciate your super chat again. 0 momentum, 44% win rate in April over 7 years. So what does that tell you? I'll discount one of the years, but we generally know in the Emirates, this is when we fall short. In the 6 years under Mikel Arteta, for whatever reason, you and the players gas out at the wrong time, where momentum is the name of the game. Spurs can't buy a win. City can't stop winning. We're indifferent. So it breeds indifferent performances or results. This is the crunch time, innit? Really, it is what it is.
44% win rate in April over 7 years, and you've only won like one game in the Premier League in April. It says everything it needs to say. Your teams are never prepared to play when it matters. We're the best team from August to April, and City are their best between April and May, and we're never good in April and May. Like, so that's the biggest issue, and I feel like that's the biggest difference between Arteta and elite managers. But he's being paid like an elite manager. He's being propped up by certain people as that. So he needs to deliver silverware. Like, I'm tired of this. Like, I'm not hearing any injury stuff, because the injuries, there's a lot of it is on you. We were saying early on in the season, why not use MLS here? Why not use Norgard here? Now these players, like the league phase meant absolutely nothing in that Champions League. We had already made it. We knew we were going to be in the top 4, and he was still playing Rice and Zubi and these. Like, this is on you, baby. We told you Saka would be crocked at a certain point. Here we are. Like, his first phase was Saka, Odegaard, Ben White. All 3 of those players look washed. All 3 of those players look washed.
Yeah, Ben's got it going out sad, man.
Like, it's absolutely so bad.
Sad. Saka at the moment, Odegaard can't buy any fitness.
Yeah, and then the second phase now is Havertz, Rice, and Timber.
Yeah.
Havertz, Rice, and Timber are his next victims. Like,
don't sleep on that midfield. I don't want to talk it into existence, but Rice, Zubi, I'm kind of nervous with you lot playing every week, and I get it. But
you've had Hincapié and Calafiori swapping in that left back position. So MLS has been available. Norgard is rotting on the bench.
You don't rate
I don't want
MLS
to hear
enough.
anything. He has no excuse. I'm not hearing it, not listening. I'm not hearing
No,
it.
for me, Jess, it's a thing where it's like
Nothing.
I'm not hearing no excuses. There's obviously factors around this, but end of the day, you're still in the semi-finals. You're still top. We've been bitching about all this stuff this season, and somehow you've managed to be there. You've got to get it done. Like, unfortunately, the world doesn't care. The world doesn't feel sorry for us. They don't care about the 20-year drought, 140-year drought in the Champions League. They don't care about who's injured and whatnot. Claw it back. This is where legends are made. Like, I always say this, yeah. Our generation is invincibles. Fans above us can talk about George Graham. There is a section of the Arsenal fan base that ain't seen, don't know about Wenger, don't know about this player and that. You man will be immortalized if you fix up you will be dead man's generation and things of that. You'll also be the first team that's won the Premier League during the Emirates era. And I do think it's not an excuse, but I do think the fact that we haven't won that Premier League does play on these players. But again, I don't want to hear that because you say the manager's good, you say you want to win, you know about the club's history, the pain of the last few years is that you've all signed new deals, so you're all comfortable here. Unfortunately, this is what comes with a big club. That's another thing to ask you before I get into the super chat. Yeah, the Bournemouth game. I know you said you watched it on a rerun and whatnot. What do you make of the booing? Like the booing of, because I don't think they're booing their players. I think they're booing the performance. And I do feel there's too much kumbaya. If you played well, you would have got roars. If you perform like that after telling the fans to bring everything and we've done our jobs, you've got to hold that. Because one thing I will always say to Arsenal fans, yeah, me and you sit here, we get 10 other YouTubers. Some are pro Arteta, some don't like him, some like this player, some don't like that player, some don't think we're good, some guys think we're the best thing since sliced bread, yeah. But at the end of the day, when we get away from that, everyone can see we should be getting this league title over the line. We have had a good position. So we've all been behind you in that regards. We all kind of want that. So I don't think they booed the players. They booed the performance. Rightly so. If you're telling us, bring our speakers, do this, that. And the only people who didn't turn up was the guys and the manager that affect the performance. So what do you make of the boos?
Good.
I'm happy we agree on that.
It's about time that the fans get fucking fed up with the bullshit. They need to get fed up. Like, here's the thing, is that was an acceptable time to boo because that performance at home in a title race at all is unacceptable. It was unprofessional and it was ass. So yes, and at some point the fans need to take, like, I get it that sometimes it's difficult to see how you can change things. But when you're being told to come and basically he's putting onus on you to get them over the line and you show up. Laura was there. I talked to Laura. She said they were up for it. I don't want to hear anything about the fans just weren't up for it and they weren't doing this and they weren't doing that. They were. But the players did not show up at all. So, of course, at some point, the Arsenal fans need to decide whether or not this is good enough, and I think we're one of the most patient fan bases in the world. This is one of the easiest jobs you can have in terms of pressure as at a top club, because this fan base they'll listen to you, that they want to get behind you.
There's a carrot of finally getting over the line and a dominance and dynasty that might happen.
Yeah, but they got to start making it known that it's not okay, and that wasn't okay. So yeah, good. That doesn't mean that showing that this is an unacceptable performance does not say that you do not support and you do not love them and all that kind of stuff. But it's okay to not be happy about things. And I think it's too, tipping around, like, is it okay to,
pussyfooting around stuff.
Absolutely, because that was horrendous.
And it's from a place of love, man. You sometimes, like, again, we're meant to be a football. We can all disagree on Arsenal, but we're all a family, whether you're around the world or you're at the stadium or you're the players, yeah? Why not want to hear it from people who love you? Because we gain nothing from obviously bashing you for no reason, innit? So it's come from a position of love. And one thing that is annoying me, yeah, is even if we say the players, because I think they were booing the performance, I think fans are right. I don't think Arsenal fans sit there and do that all the time. But let's just actually assume they booed, they thought everyone was shit, they thought the gaffer was shit, all of that kind of stuff. How many times when you lot have had setbacks or when you lot have been in nervous moments or in good form, fans up and down the country have been supporting, have been behind you when you've made mistakes. That's probably you. That's over 100+ times being nice, yeah. And it's only one time you've been booed. So the metrics are still in the favor of them believing in you. End of the day, it's what you lot want to do. I actually like the way Rice spoke after the game, Zubi after the game, Eze before the game. But if I'm completely honest, it's not whether these things are right or wrong. And I know you got to fulfill your media duties. I just quote unquote don't want to hear it now. Like there's multiple different language speakers in that football team and around the world at many teams. The best thing about football, it don't matter if you speak Turkish, Indian, English, whatever have you. It's with your feet now. It's with your body language. It's what you do.
Anything different than they've been saying for the last couple of seasons, like them talking and the performances, like you said, they just don't match up with what they're saying. I've stopped listening to Arteta's press conferences a long time ago.
I can't lie. The fire comment with the fire one was funny, man. We'll get onto that, but it was funny. I can't lie. Man.
I don't have any more. Like Rice is not necessarily saying anything different than what I've heard. Like, it goes from this was not good enough, but we're gonna respond and la 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 la. And then even yesterday, I saw he said, that we just want to go one step further and da da da. What's one step further? Can you say that you want to win something? Is it illegal to say that Arsenal want to fucking win something? Say we want to win it. One step further? The fuck is that? But they all sing from the same hymn sheet. They're all media trained. They're not going to say what they really feel. And, it's tough because sometimes you just want to hear them say, we were shit. That's what I want to hear. That's it.
Just be human, man. Just absolutely be human.
But I know they can't do that, so I'm not saying,
it's not how you say it, it's what you say. Even if we look at Arsenal YouTubers, there's YouTubers out there, positive and negative, yeah, that say the same things that I say, but it's the way it's being said, especially at this moment around negativity, innit? So you can say it. I also understand, especially Rice and Arsenal, because the one thing I'll give you is there's plenty. I disagree with a lot of what is said about our football club, the double standards, etc. But there are 1-2 things that rivals and external things say that I'm like, okay, I don't like the messenger, but I like the message, and I kind of share that. So I understand the frustrations with they are just trying to get sound base. They are just trying to get clickbait. And I can understand if they're doing like the PR thing just to pee people off. But now it's for me, you lot might as well be deaf because the feet need to do the talking. Mr. Holiday, one love for the super chat. Arteta should go no matter the outcome of this season. I'm tired of the style of play and our players being run into the ground. Also, Jess, what happened to your lives? Do people miss you? Take it away, Jess.
So on like the lives and stuff like that,